Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So this week Bungie held their final livestream event for the Age of Triumph, and this time they talked a lot about the new armor sets as well as some Sandbox updates that will be coming. So, let's go through them, and I'll talk a little bit about that poster at the end. Now, they first started talking about what exactly Destiny means to not only them as a development team, but also us as a, community, and why we play it. From gaining weapons and armor from our fallen dead foes, to conquering raids, challenges, and just having a good time with our friends and clan. It was just a nice little thank you to us as a community, and kind of what that it shows their passion, I think, for the project that they had. Even if they don't make some of the best choices that we as a community like, we can still tell their passion for this project and how much they want it to connect with people. Now, let's get on to some of that armor. First off, they started talking about a new kind of Vault of Glass armor from the raids. And they showed a bit of what the concept art looks like and kind of like the concept of it and its influence. And what they described this one is that in the lore, your Guardian has conquered and raided the Vault of Glass so many times that he's been able to craft new armor set from the destroyed Vex. And as you can see from the photos here, you can definitely see a lot of the Vex influence, a lot of the Vex-ish qualities of this armor, so I think it's pretty nice. I personally like the Warlock helmet the best, the Warlock boots the best, the Hunter boots the best, and that Hunter cloak the best. Now, after they showed off a lot of the Vault of Glass armor, they kind of brought up the, let's say, the elephant in the room. As you can tell, now that Deej was holding a Fatebringer. Now, what they're doing with these kind of old school raid weapons is quite interesting, I think. There's going to be two versions, a normal legendary version and a brand new exotic adept version, as they're calling it. So kind of like Trials of Osiris, where you have the normal and adept versions, you're going to be able to get an exotic Fatebringer, basically. Now, the difference between the two is that one has the elemental primary damage. The one that has the elemental primary damage is the exotic adept version. So the normal legendary version of the Fatebringer, that will be 400, does not have the elemental primary, but the exotic adept version does. We'll get a little bit more into that at the end of all this armor set. But on to Crota. Everyone's favorite son of Oryx, Crota. Now, they showed off the new armor set, which personally, I'll save my thoughts. I'll save my thoughts for the end of this about describing it. They described the kind of lore and concept of this one as if they killed so much of the hive and kind of been down there in the pits so much that the hive energy and the hive essence has been kind of absorbed into them, as kind of running off of their armor. It's very interesting design. It's sort of like how Eris Morn was changed by the darkness in the hive. So I find it a very interesting design. Now, one really nice thing about this armor is that when you're hit and when you're damaged, the glowing spikes will actually kind of disintegrate, and the rocks that float around on your arm will kind of glitch and flicker. It's a very unique kind of twist to the armor. I find it really cool, and I think it's a very interesting way to kind of give a lot of visual feedback to your fire team, rather than just having to say, I'm hurt, I need healing. Your teammates will be able to look at you and say, oh shit, he's hurt, he's got to get to cover, or I got to go help him somehow. I think it's a very interesting thing, and I hope that that's something that they can expand on with Destiny 2. And just like Fatebringer, Word of Crota is coming back. I mean, all raid primaries are coming back, but Word of Crota is getting its elemental damage with that exotic adept version, as we just talked about. As well, they brought up Black Hammer. They mentioned that Black Hammer is not coming back. Black Spindle is the one that's going to stay. Black Hammer is gone. It is never to be heard or seen again. Black Hammer has been lost to Crota, as they say. Necrochasm is also coming back with a new ornament, which is pretty cool, and a brand new kind of update to its exotic perk. Now, for those who don't know, Necrochasm, when you got a headshot, your foe would suffer an explosion. However, they found it because, auto rifles can be very much kind of, I don't want to say stingy, but they can be a little bit difficult to pull off headshot kills with. So what they've done was that they've updated so that any kill, whether it be body shot, headshot, your victim is going to explode. Now, personally, I'm kind of a little mixed on this whole design of the new Crota armor. I'm personally a little bit mixed. I find it a little bit too kind of busy. As cool as I find it with the spikes and everything, and even the damage representation, I think as I said, the damage representation is really cool. But I think it's a little bit too busy for my eyes to kind of always rock. I think it's a little bit too busy for me. I think there's in some areas there could be a little bit too many spikes, or they just kind of jut out so much that it just looks a little bit. But that's just my personal opinion, at the very least. I think it's something that's going to go over pretty well with the community, but that's just my personal opinion on it. Next up is probably my personal favorite armor set from this whole new redesigned armor, the King's Fall armor. Similar to how the Crota one was designed, this one's kind of like the same kind of concept, in that you've killed so many hive and so many creatures on, the dreadnought, that their essence, their darkness has started to infect your armor. It's a little bit more restraint than the Crota armor. There's no jutting spikes out or anything, but it still has kind of like the same principle, and it has the damage output, the damage representation on it. It's really cool, actually. It's a lot it kind of looks, at least on the Hunter even, it looks kind of stop motion-ish by the way it flows back through your armor. It's really cool looking, I think. It's really cool. Plus, I really, really like that Warlock helmet. That is fucking badass. And next we have the Wrath of the Machine one. Now, what it sounded like that Wrath of the Machine has at least 2 ornaments. I'm not fully sure if King's Fall and Crota's End and Vault of Glass have 2 ornaments. I know that those designs that we kind of just went through, those are part of the ornaments that you'll get. And we'll get a little bit into that after we kind of discuss the armor. But it sounded like the Wrath of the Machine has 2 ornaments. With this new Wrath of the Machine armor, they described the kind of concept behind it as if Siva itself was like peeling off and disintegrating from your armor. So they kind of add these little flickering and glitch effects on the armor. It's really interesting looking. And on, I believe, the second armor, it has this kind of where holes and puncture wounds, I guess you could call them, can be seen throughout your armor, and it's as if the sieve is kind of pouring out and lava is flowing right out of your armor. It's very interesting. It's similar to the King's Fall and how it's got that kind of lava flow around your armor, and it's pretty interesting, I think. It's still like the same Wrath of the Machine armor, whether you love it or you hate it. It's still the same. It doesn't have a completely new design like those other 3, though. Now, one thing that may be interesting is that you'll notice that Vault of Glass is Fatebringer. Crota's End has Word of Crota in terms of elemental primaries. King's Fall and Wrath of the Machine do not. Because of their timing, Bungie was kind of hesitant and didn't want to bring back elemental primaries because they I forget their reasoning, honestly, but they really just didn't want them to be kind of in there. I think they didn't want people to feel as if they were forced to use them because of the burns and the Nightfall and the heroic strikes. But that's going to change. They're going to add a elemental primary to both King's Fall and Wrath of the Machine. They didn't say, I don't believe they said which it was, and they also didn't say what the element burn was, the element damage was, but they did confirm that they are adding both an elemental primary to both King's Fall and Wrath of the Machine, and you more than likely are going to get them the same either way, the same way that you would either from Vault of Glass or King's Fall, and we'll get into how you earn them. And last but not least in our armor set is actually not a raid armor. It's an armor set from the new box that's going to be coming with Age of Triumph. Now this armor is a lot inspired off kind of Year 1 Destiny stuff, Year 1 Destiny armor and all of that. And they're also adding something a little bit newer. They're adding Chroma class items. Now, this is the only Chroma set that's going to be released with Age of Triumph as well, so just keep that in mind. But that one is one that's going to be, you're going to be able to use your Chroma on and kind of light it up how you wish. Now with this Chroma class armor, you're actually going to get these class items from the speaker quest that's coming with Age of Triumph. You are not going to get those from the box. That's coming. The class items are going to come with the speaker quest that you're going to do with Age of Triumph. So just keep that in mind and go ahead and complete that quest and get a really, really nice hunter cloak. That hunter cloak, that thing is badass, especially with the chroma on. That is fucking nice looking. Now, how are you going to earn these new fangled armors, these new designs? Well, they're actually ornaments, apparently, from what we've gathered. But they work a little bit differently than normal ornaments. See, normally when you get an ornament, it's for one specific weapon and one specific design. But that's going to change a little bit with them, at least with these raid armors. Now, as we talked about last week, there's a new weekly featured challenge, or I should say 2 weeks ago. What we talked about 2 weeks ago was the weekly featured raid and its new challenges. When you complete this weekly featured raid and these challenges, you're going to get what's called an ornament token that can be used on any of these armor sets. Any of these armor sets. So if you complete, let's say, the King's Fall weekly featured raid with the challenge and get an ornament token, you can use that in the Vault of Glass one, in the Wrath of the Machine one, or in the Crota's End one. So you don't have to complete a specific raid. You don't have to complete, say, Vault of Glass to get a Vault of Glass one, Crota's End to get a Crota's End. You don't have to do that. But you earn these ornament tokens from completing the weekly featured raid with its challenges. And you can unlock the new design that way. Now, with these exotic adept versions, as I said, there's 2 versions. There's a normal legendary one without the elemental primaries, and then the exotic one, which has the elemental primary damage. Now, how you earn these is a little similar to the ornaments that we just talked about. You're going to be able to get the normal legendary version from a 390 light from the director at any time you'd like. However, the exotic adept versions are saved for the weekly featured raid and its challenges. That's where you'll be getting your exotic adept version. So get prepared, people. Get ready for those challenges and earn that fate bringer that you want. Now, in the final segment of the stream, they started talking about the Sandbox update that they wanted to. And honestly, if you want a lot more kind of detail about what exactly is going on in those changes, I'll link to a video somewhere around this time or in the description about that where I talk about those, because that's where you'll get a lot of the detail. They did confirm, changes such as the Arc Blade, where some of the weapons and perks that were affected, they will be kind of rolled over, but some of them will be changed. They confirmed the Scory artifact changes, where you gotta kill an enemy to activate it. So go ahead and check out that video down there if you want all the gritty details about the Sandbox update changes. But I'm not just gonna stop talking about the Sandbox changes there, because they did bring up one unknown one, which is very... Thank God this is being added. Okay, so normally when you get ammo in the Crucible, normally when you go for a sidearm box or a heavy box, you have to make sure you pull out that weapon and reload it first. Because if you forget and you come across an enemy or opportunity that you find to use your heavy weapon or special weapon is the best moment, now you gotta reload. However, now whenever you open up a box and get your heavy ammo or your sidearm ammo or special ammo, it'll just be reloaded. It will automatically be put into a magazine so you can just fire away right there as you get it. Thank God for this, because I have had so many times where I have forgotten to, reload my weapon and I got screwed out of it because I was a dumbass. So thank God this change is coming. Now, before I go, let's talk a little bit about that poster. For those who haven't seen it, here you go. Now, what we can kind of gather from this is that it seems at the very least in Italy, the game is being released on September 8th. Now, whether or not that's a worldwide release date, we don't know. But that's more than likely the confirmed date for at least Italy. So, we'll have to keep an eye out. We'll see if they kind of release it at the same time as a worldwide, because that is very close to the original Destiny release date, which was September 9th. We can also see a Soros shotgun, which is pretty cool. And people are saying that they're able to see a beard on the Warlock. I personally can't, at least with that quality. But if you can, hey, that's awesome. I hope for facial hair and all that. That would be really nice for the character customization. And one last little detail is that it seems that when you pre-order, you will get early access to the beta. At least kind of, early access, I'd say. Now, there's also a rumor going around that PlayStation 4 owners in June are going to get kind of first access to the beta itself. So we'll see where that goes. So with this cycle, what at least the kind of Roblox seems to be, it seems, PS4 players beta, at least in June, pre-order beta, and then most likely an open beta for everyone to kind of participate in, hopefully. So I think that about wraps everything up. I think that's about it for our little kind of Destiny Age of Triumph stream recap trilogy. I want to kind of thank you all for kind of watching these and kind of following through. And I hope you enjoyed my little kind of commentary and recap throughout it all. And don't worry, new songs should be coming out within the next couple weeks. I just am almost done with the arrangement of it, just about. So we should be moving on to the mixing process very soon. And hopefully we'll have it out within the next couple weeks. And I hope you guys really enjoyed them, because I really enjoyed it myself. I think it's one of my more atmospheric songs, but still has kind of like the kind of chill and down tempo aspect that I do. So hopefully you guys really enjoyed this one, and I think it's one of my better ones. So I thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Comment your thoughts down below of what you think of the armor and the Sandbox updates, and share with your friends. And keep an eye out for that song coming soon within the next couple weeks. Thank you. Notewise, out.